Welcome back, coaches. Today, we're going deep. You know that book, Frogs into Princes?
Oh, yeah. Richard Bandler and John Grinder. NLP.
Yeah, NLP, exactly. And some people find it a little bit controversial.
Oh, for sure. But
But even though it was published way back in 79,
Mhm.
there's some seriously useful stuff in there for coaches,
Mhm.
like really transformational stuff.
Oh, totally. The core ideas, like how people think and communicate and how change happens, it's all timeless. Timeless for coaches, especially coaches who want to, make a real impact.
Right. And they make some pretty bold claims. They talk about NLP being used for all sorts of things like phobias and learning disabilities, even relationship issues.
Yeah, it's all about change, right? Like how to create change, specific change.
And they use that analogy of the Boilermaker.
Oh, yeah, the guy who knows exactly where to tap.
Charges like $1,000 just for that knowledge.
Boom, problem solved.
And that's what NLP is about, right?
Yeah.
Finding those leverage points, those subtle shifts that,
Can create massive change.
yeah. So for us coaches, like how do we find those tap points with our clients?
So one of the kind of core ideas is they really emphasize sensory experience.
Okay.
They say that by really paying attention to how your client is seeing and hearing and feeling, you can get a lot of insight into how they're processing things internally.
Like we're tuning into another level of communication
Yeah,
beyond just the words themselves.
absolutely, yeah. And this is where it gets really interesting because this leads into what they call representational systems.
Oh, yeah?
And this is the idea that people tend to favor one sense over the others when they're processing information. So visual, auditory, or kinesthetic
Yeah.
feeling.
Okay, so how do we figure out like what someone's dominant system is?
By watching and listening, nonverbals.
Okay.
Their eye movements, body language, even the words they choose. Like someone who's visual might say, I see what you mean. But someone who's auditory might say, that sounds right.
So it's almost like we're learning a secret language, right? We're
Yeah.
decoding these subtle cues to really understand how our client experiences the world.
Exactly. And here's the thing. For coaches, this is gold because once you know someone's system, you can really tailor your communication to be more impactful.
Okay.
So if you're working with someone who's highly visual, you might use more metaphors and imagery, really speak to their way of processing information.
It's like we're speaking their language, right?
Yeah.
Building that connection.
Yes, exactly. And that brings us to this powerful technique that they talk about, mirroring and pacing.
Yeah.
And this involves subtly, matching your client's body language and tonal voice, even their breathing patterns.
Right. So it's not about being inauthentic or mimicking them. It's more about creating a sense of harmony.
Exactly. And it's powerful. They even share this great story about this college president who was able to connect with a CIA agent
Wow.
just by pacing his reality, even though their beliefs were completely different. So it shows how powerful this rapport building can be.
Yeah.
And this kind of ties into the idea of overlap.
Okay.
And overlap is really about meeting your client where they are, acknowledging their state of consciousness, and then gently, leading them towards a more resourceful state.
So it's not so much about forcing change. It's more about skillfully guiding them.
Exactly. And one of the tools that they offer for this process is anchoring.
Anchoring. So that's all about creating associations.
Yes, exactly. You're associating a specific stimulus, like a touch, a word, with a desired state, an emotion or a behavior. Imagine being able to help your clients access confidence or calm just by using like a specific phrase or a touch.
That's amazing. It's like giving them a superpower, right? Access to those positive states whenever they need them.
Exactly. Yeah. And they talk about how anchoring can be particularly powerful in relationship coaching.
Okay.
Like how it can help couples break out of those negative patterns and, create new positive associations.
I can see how that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
But I also imagine there's potential for accidentally creating negative anchors as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's something that, we have to be mindful of as coaches, our own behavior and the impact it might be having. Even a subtle gesture or tone of voice could be triggering something in our client, right?
Yeah. It's a good reminder that as coaches, we're walking anchors ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Like our words and actions have an impact.
Exactly. And that brings us to another really powerful technique, reframing. And this is
Yeah.
where we start challenging those limiting beliefs and behaviors that are holding our clients back.
Okay. So reframing is about helping them see things from a different perspective.
Yeah, precisely. Shifting perspectives, creating new possibilities, and ultimately empowering them to change the story they're telling themselves.
I like that. And they share that example, right, of the woman who overate to protect her marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Illustrating how even seemingly negative behaviors can have a positive intention on a deeper level. So it's a good reminder that, our job isn't to judge, it's to understand, like, what's the deeper motivation and how can we help them fulfill that need in a healthier, more empowering way.
Exactly. And they actually outline this step-by-step process for reframing. Starting with, identifying the part that's responsible for the behavior, then understanding its positive intention, and then negotiating new behaviors that can serve that intention in a more constructive way.
Right, and that's where that concept of ecological soundness comes in, making sure those new behaviors are aligned with their, well-being and their values.
Absolutely, yeah. It's about sustainable change that really fits into their life and feels authentic.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I found fascinating was their discussion of altered states of consciousness. And I know this might sound a little out there for some people, but It's really, hear me out.
It's important to remember that altered states are normal. We all experience them.
Right.
Throughout the day, whether it's daydreaming, meditation, even getting lost in a good book.
Yeah. And what NLP suggests is that we can actually leverage those states, those altered states, to facilitate change, to access creativity and insight that we might not be able to access in our everyday state of consciousness.
Absolutely. They even argue that these states can be induced without, any formal hypnotic inductions, just by using language and other NLP techniques.
So as coaches, we might be able to guide our clients into these states. Simply through the questions we ask, the metaphors we use, even our tone of voice.
Precisely. And the cool thing is, these altered states can really unlock new possibilities for our clients.
Yeah.
Helping them overcome those limiting beliefs and create lasting change.
Now, before we dive even deeper into the practical side of all of this, there's one more concept from the book that I think is super important for us as coaches to understand.
And what's that?
The power of the unconscious mind.
Oh, yeah.
Bandler and Grinder, they emphasize how much of our behavior is driven by forces that we're not even aware of. And they dedicate a good portion of the book to, how can we communicate with and influence the unconscious mind? They even suggest that, some traditional therapeutic approaches like Gestalt therapy or TA, they're already using these principles, even if they're not aware of it.
Unconsciously.
Yeah, it's like NLP is giving us it's giving us the language, right? The framework to understand these intuitive processes and use them more intentionally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the tools that they highlight for tapping into the unconscious is
metaphor.
Metaphor, yeah.
Yeah. Powerful stuff.
Okay, so instead of directly challenging a limiting belief, I could tell a story or use an analogy. And that allows the client to arrive at a new understanding.
Exactly. It's like planting seeds, sparking those aha moments and letting their unconscious mind do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, so it feels like less resistant than trying to force change, just through logic or pure willpower. Now, one thing I really appreciate about their approach is that it's all about being flexible and adaptable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
No.
Right. Every client's unique.
Right.
Every situation is different.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to meet them where they are.
Absolutely. In fact, they share this kind of crazy story about a therapist who got amazing results by stomping on a catatonic patient's foot.
Wait, they stomped on their foot?
Yeah. Sounds crazy, right? But the point is, sometimes those unconventional approaches are exactly what's needed.
Wow.
To break those rigid patterns.
Right. Shake things up to create space for something new to emerge.
Exactly.
So it's like a reminder for us as coaches to stay open, get creative, and, really trust our intuition.
Absolutely. Sometimes those most effective interventions, they're the ones the client doesn't even consciously notice.
Like Milton Erickson's work.
Exactly. Yeah. Clients would come back months later with these incredible changes, and they couldn't even explain how it happened.
It's like magic.
It's about working at a deeper level, planting those seeds, and then trusting their own unconscious mind to do the rest.
That's powerful stuff. Now, I'm ready for another mind-blowing concept. Changing personal history.
Oh, yeah.
How is that even possible?
Well, again, it's not about literally changing the past events. It's about shifting the meaning that we attach to them.
Right.
Our memories, they're not perfect recordings. They're interpretations. We tell ourselves stories.
So someone who had a traumatic experience in childhood could, go back and reinterpret it from their adult perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Like offering compassion and understanding to their younger self from a place of, wisdom and strength. And this also ties into a technique called collapsed anchors.
Collapsed anchors. I haven't heard that term before.
It's about taking two different states, a positive one and a negative one, and kind of merging them. So the negative state, instead of trying to erase it or avoid it,
Right.
you use its energy to fuel a more positive experience.
That's fascinating. So NLP really does offer this whole new set of tools for creating change, not just for our clients, but for ourselves as well.
Exactly.
And a key principle that underpins all of this is ecology.
Yes.
Now, how does ecology relate to NLP?
Well, they emphasize that any change we make needs to be ecologically sound, meaning it fits into the bigger system of the client's life. It's holistic.
So it's not just change for change's sake. It's got to be sustainable.
Exactly.
And support the client's well-being, without creating unintended consequences.
Right. It's about considering the ripple effects, making sure the new behaviors align with their values and goals.
Yeah. What about professional ethics in NLP? Do they have a specific code of ethics?
Actually, they kind of challenge that idea of a rigid, one-size-fits-all ethical code.
Interesting.
Yeah. They believe that true ethical behavior comes from flexibility, awareness, and really responding to the unique needs of each client.
So it's less about rules and more about being present.
Exactly. They even say that the most ethical approach might even mean stepping outside of, conventional boundaries, just like that therapist with the catatonic patient.
So it's about challenging norms, thinking outside the box, and always, putting the client's well-being first, which requires a deep level of self-awareness, right?
Absolutely.
We have to constantly examine our own beliefs and biases and make sure we're acting with integrity.
Right. It's a journey of growth.
It is. One thing that I found really interesting was how they talk about moving away from a problem-focused approach to coaching and towards something more generative, more empowering.
Oh, yeah. I love that part.
I do too. Can you say a little bit more about that generative approach?
Sure. So, traditional therapy often gets kind of stuck in this cycle of identifying and fixing problems,
Right.
which can leave people feeling kind of, broken or deficient.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Right. But a generative approach, it's about focusing on what the client wants to create, what they're passionate about, what brings them joy and meaning.
So it's about helping them thrive, not just survive.
Exactly. NLP gives us this amazing framework for understanding how, our thoughts and beliefs and behaviors, they literally create our reality. Having the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah. That's incredibly empowering, not just for us, but for our clients.
Absolutely. It's about unleashing their potential, igniting their passion, and helping them, really step into their greatness.
I love that. And I appreciate that that they also emphasize that this doesn't have to be all heavy and serious.
Oh, yeah, totally.
They encourage us to be playful, curious, even bring humor into our work.
Absolutely. They even talk about using confusion and surprise, to disrupt those rigid patterns and open up those new possibilities.
So it's like they're saying, let's not take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Let's experiment and see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what makes NLP so engaging and effective. It's fluid, adaptable. It lets us meet each client where they are and, guide them on this powerful and enjoyable journey.
Speaking of transformation, I was particularly intrigued by their discussion of altered states of consciousness. They emphasize how powerful these states can be for creating change.
Yeah. And they challenge that idea that we need, hypnosis or other, esoteric practices to access these states. We all experience them throughout the day.
Right. So daydreaming, meditation, even getting lost in a good book, those are all altered states.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's about recognizing those states and utilizing them for positive change.
So are there any techniques that they offer for doing that?
Oh, yeah. They suggest, using specific language patterns, sensory cues, even metaphors.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as coaches, we could actually guide our clients into states of deep relaxation or, heightened focus just through our words and our presence.
Exactly. It's about tapping into the power of the unconscious mind, that vast reservoir of creativity and wisdom.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do they give any specific examples of this in action?
Oh, yeah, yeah. They share a great story about a student who was struggling with relationship issues. He felt totally trapped, like his only options were to marry his girlfriend or break up with her.
Right, right. That feeling of being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Exactly. So they helped him break free from that limited thinking by guiding him into this kind of dreamlike state
Okay.
where he could explore all sorts of new possibilities beyond those two choices.
So it worked. He was able to shift his perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. He spent hours in this altered state, generating new ideas and really expanding his awareness.
That's amazing how just shifting our state of consciousness can unlock those insights.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It reminds us that we don't always have to think our way out of a problem. Sometimes we got to feel our way through it.
That's such a valuable takeaway, right? It brings me to another key point from the book, the importance of challenging our assumptions.
Oh, yeah. Questioning those limiting beliefs that we often, take for granted.
Yeah, those truths we hold about ourselves, our clients, and the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like the belief that change has to be, slow and painful.
Exactly. Yeah. Those limitations are often self-imposed.
Right.
Based on our beliefs and expectations. NLP encourages us to embrace the possibility of rapid change, effortless change, even enjoyable change.
And that requires us to be, really open, right?
That's
Open
it.
to new perspectives.
Absolutely.
To consider that there might be other ways of seeing the world that are more expansive and empowering.
Yes.
And they encourage us to be, curious and playful about this whole process.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's about experimenting, being open to making mistakes, and having fun along the way.
Absolutely. It's an adventure.
It is. It is. So what are some of the tools or techniques they recommend for challenging assumptions?
Well, one that comes to mind is reframing, which we talked about earlier.
Right, right. Helping clients see things in a new light.
Exactly. But they suggest that reframing can be applied not only to individual beliefs, but to behaviors, situations, even whole systems.
So we can reframe a challenging situation at work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or conflict within a family.
Mm-hmm. They even talk about using reframing in corporate settings to resolve conflicts and improve communication.
Right, right. It's about finding that common ground and creating solutions that work for everyone.
Exactly.
So this is another reminder for us as coaches that we need to be skilled at reframing.
Yes.
Not just for our clients, but for ourselves.
Yes.
And the systems that we're a part of.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being agents of change. And not just at the individual level, but at the relational and organizational, even societal level.
That's a big vision.
It is. It's a big vision for coaching, going beyond just helping individuals achieve goals to really creating a more harmonious world.
It's inspiring.
It is. It really is. Now, speaking of creating a better world, you mentioned earlier this idea of secondary gain.
Oh, yeah.
That even those behaviors that seem, negative on the surface can actually serve a positive purpose at a deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
Like the woman who overate.
Yeah. The woman who overate to protect her marriage.
Right. It's a reminder that we really have to understand the deeper motivations.
Yes.
Driving our clients' actions. We can't just focus on the surface behavior.
Right. We need to explore their underlying needs and help them find healthier ways to meet those needs.
Right. It's about addressing the root cause, not
Yeah.
just the symptoms.
Exactly. And that takes a lot of empathy and compassion.
Yeah.
We need to step into their shoes, understand their world, and really honor the positive intention behind their actions.
Yeah.
Even the ones that seem, self-destructive.
It's a beautiful reminder that our work is about creating a safe and supportive space where people can explore, heal, and step into their full potential. Speaking of stepping into our full potential, one of the key takeaways for me from the book is this emphasis on the power of belief.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Our beliefs shape our reality.
Absolutely.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. And they even talk about how, a therapist's own beliefs can impact their work.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. They share this anecdote about a therapist who was so convinced that a particular technique wouldn't work that she inadvertently sabotaged the whole session.
Wow. That's powerful. It's a reminder that, our beliefs aren't just these abstract things. They have a real impact on what we do and the results that we get.
Absolutely.
And what's even more empowering is that we have the the power to choose our beliefs.
Yeah.
Right? So if we want to create positive change in our lives, we need to first examine and maybe even challenge those beliefs that might be holding us back.
Absolutely, yeah. They even suggest like trying on different beliefs, like experimenting with a new outfit.
Yeah.
To see how they feel and what kind of results they create in your life.
It's about being open to new possibilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And choosing beliefs that empower us and support our growth.
Exactly. And that takes courage, stepping outside of our comfort zone, challenging our assumptions.
Yeah.
Being open to new perspectives.
It's about seeing the world with fresh eyes.
Yes. And they encourage us to, to approach this whole process with curiosity and playfulness.
Right. So it's about having fun with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Experimenting, seeing what happens.
That's what makes NLP so engaging.
Yeah.
It's not rigid, it's fluid, it's adaptable. It allows us to constantly learn, grow, and evolve.
Absolutely.
This has been such a rich exploration of NLP. And its applications for coaches are just incredible. It's clear that this model offers so much, both in terms of those practical techniques and this whole mindset shift that can really help us create truly transformative results.
Yes. And for ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
One key message I'm taking away is the importance of integrating these techniques in a way that that feels authentic to us.
Right. We don't want to become NLP robots, right?
Exactly. They emphasize that it's a toolbox, not a dogma. You get to choose the tools that resonate with you.
Okay. So it's about taking these principles, making them our own, and weaving them into our own unique style of coaching.
Absolutely.
Now, they talk about the importance of sensory acuity.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Can you say a little bit more about that?
Sure. As coaches, we need to be really tuned in to those nonverbal cues from our clients.
Okay.
The subtle shifts in their body language, their tone of voice, even their breathing.
Right. It's almost like we're becoming detectives of the unconscious mind.
Exactly. And they offer some techniques for, sharpening that awareness, like calibration.
Calibration.
Yeah, it's where we learn to detect those really subtle changes in our client's physiology.
I can see how that would be so valuable because it allows us to go beyond the words to really understand what's going on.
Exactly. It's about being present, attuned, and responsive to, the whole person.
Yeah, and you can also use that sensory acuity to detect incongruence.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like when the client's words don't match their nonverbal cues.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's where those NLP techniques like mirroring and pacing come in.
Right.
Because we can build rapport, create that sense of safety.
Yeah.
And that can help them become more congruent and authentic.
Yeah. It's about creating that space where they can really be themselves and they feel like seen and heard and understood.
Exactly. And trust your intuition. We often pick up on these cues unconsciously, but by becoming more aware of them, we can use them more intentionally.
Right. It's a reminder to trust our gut, pay attention to those subtle signals, and let them guide our work.
Exactly. They also talk about how developing this sensory acuity can help us become more aware of our own internal states.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about being attuned to our clients, but to ourselves as well.
Absolutely, yeah. The more aware we are of our own thoughts, feelings, and body sensations, the better we can manage our energy, regulate our emotions, and create a more supportive presence for our clients.
It's about being grounded, centered, resourced.
Precisely. And this increased awareness, it can benefit us in all areas of our lives, not just our coaching sessions.
Right. That's a good reminder that, coaching is more than just a profession. It's really a way of being in the world.
It is.
Now, let's talk about a very practical application of NLP for coaches.
Yeah.
Marketing and attracting clients.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is a big one. So many coaches struggle with this.
Yes, they do.
But what's fascinating is that NLP offers a completely different approach to marketing.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Than those traditional methods.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about slick sales funnels or persuasive copywriting.
Not necessarily, no. It's about authenticity, connection, and really understanding your ideal client.
So it's about speaking to their hearts, not just their heads.
Exactly, yeah. And we can use those techniques like understanding representational systems and identifying values to create marketing messages that really resonate. Right.
Creating a sense of, this is for me.
Exactly, yeah. And they even talk about using techniques like anchoring and metaphor in marketing materials, to bypass the conscious mind and create a more powerful emotional connection.
Wow. So NLP could be Like a secret weapon for cutting through the noise and attracting clients.
It can, yeah, but it's not about manipulation or
Right.
tricking people into working with you.
No sneaky sales tactics or anything like that.
No. It's about genuine connection.
Right.
A sense of alignment and really helping people achieve their goals.
Right. It's about attracting those clients who are like a perfect fit, who are ready to do the work, and who will, really benefit from our unique gifts.
Exactly. And they also suggest using NLP to create a more fulfilling and abundant business.
Oh, okay. How so?
Well, by understanding our own beliefs and values, we can create a business that really aligns with our purpose.
Right. So it's not just about making money. It's about creating something that feels good, that supports our lifestyle.
Exactly. And we can use NLP techniques like reframing and visualization to overcome any limiting beliefs that we have about, success or money.
Right. So we're not just like successful coaches, but successful entrepreneurs as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And remember, success isn't just about those external things like money or recognition.
Right. It's about something deeper.
Yeah. It's about aligning our actions with our values, creating a business that feels good on a soul level, and having a positive impact.
Yeah, it's about creating a business that feels aligned in all areas of our lives.
Absolutely. And they highlight this idea of ecological soundness in business.
Ecological soundness in business. What does that mean?
Well, it's about creating a business that's sustainable, that supports, our well-being, our clients' well-being, and the planet's well-being.
Right. So it's about being ethical, responsible.
And contributing to a better world.
Yeah. So how can NLP help us do that?
Well, they suggest using techniques like reframing and values elicitation, to help us make choices that are aligned with our values.
Okay, so it's about creating a business that feels good, in all areas of our life.
Exactly. And it might require, challenging some of those traditional business models that prioritize profit over everything else.
Right. Creating a new paradigm, one that's based on abundance and collaboration and positive impact.
Exactly.
And they believe that's possible.
They believe it's essential.
Wow. It's really inspiring to think about the power we have as coaches to create businesses that are like forces for good.
It is. And they suggest using visualization as a tool to help us create that.
Okay. Visualization, we've talked about that in other contexts. How does it apply to building a business?
Well, by creating a clear vision of our ideal business, we start to attract the resources and opportunities, the clients we need.
It's like we're planting that seed, allowing it to grow.
Exactly. And it's not just wishful thinking. It actually activates our reticular activating system, that part of the brain that filters information.
Right.
And helps us notice those opportunities.
Right. So we're priming our mind to see those opportunities and take action.
Exactly. And we can also use visualization to overcome those limiting beliefs that we have about business or about ourselves as entrepreneurs.
It's about using our imagination to rewrite that old story and create a new one.
Exactly. And it's not just about external success, it's about creating a business that brings us joy and fulfillment, purpose.
That's beautiful. So we have the power to create businesses that are aligned with our values and our passions and our desire to make a positive impact.
Absolutely. And one key takeaway for me was the importance of modeling excellence.
Modeling excellence. What do they mean by that?
Well, they argue that if we want extraordinary results, we need to study people who are already getting those results.
So find role models, mentors, those who are like living the life we want, and learn from them.
Yes, exactly. And we can model not just their behaviors, but their beliefs, their mindset, even their strategies for success.
It's like downloading a blueprint.
Exactly.
And adapting it for ourselves.
Yeah. They offer techniques like elicitation, where we ask specific questions to uncover the patterns behind their success.
Imagine being able to elicit the strategies of like the most successful coaches in the world.
Yeah. It's like a shortcut.
It is. And they even suggest modeling excellence from our own past successes.
Oh, yeah. Modeling our own brilliance.
So recognizing those times when we were at our best and extracting those strategies.
Exactly. They suggest like keeping a success journal, to record your wins and reflect on what led to them.
That's such a good idea. It builds confidence, It helps us recognize our strengths.
Yeah.
And it creates that blueprint for future success. But it's not about becoming like a carbon copy of someone else.
Oh, no. Definitely not.
Right. We're not mimicking their every move.
No. It's about inspiration. adapting those key principles and strategies to fit our own personality.
Right. Honoring our individuality while, learning from the best.
Absolutely. And one of the most important takeaways from the book is the importance of taking action.
Action, yes. It's so easy to get caught up in theory, but we have to actually apply these ideas.
Absolutely, yeah. Knowledge is only power when it's applied.
So it's not enough to just read about NLP or attend a workshop.
Mm-hmm.
We have to actually try these techniques, experiment. And that requires, stepping outside our comfort zone a little bit, being willing to take risks, and even embrace the possibility of failure.
Oh, yeah. Failure. That's a big one.
Yeah. Not something that most people are comfortable with.
No, but they reframe failure as a learning opportunity, a chance to refine our approach.
Right. So it's not really failure. It's just feedback.
Exactly. Yeah. The only real failure is not trying.
I love that.
And they suggest using, NLP techniques like reframing and anchoring to actually shift our perspective on failure.
Okay.
To turn it into motivation for growth.
So it's not something to be afraid of. It's something to embrace.
Mm-hmm.
And a key element of that is persistence.
Oh, yeah. Persistence.
Right. Because it's so easy to get discouraged when we don't see results immediately.
Absolutely. Yeah. But success often comes from consistent effort over time.
Right. It's about staying committed even when things get tough.
Mm-hmm.
Trusting that those results will come.
Exactly. And they recommend some techniques for cultivating that persistence, like setting clear goals, breaking down large tasks into smaller ones, and celebrating our progress along the way.
Right. And as coaches, we need to model persistence for our clients as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Show them that it's possible. And we can even use NLP techniques like anchoring or visualization to kind of boost our motivation.
Yeah. It's like creating that internal support system to keep us going.
Exactly. And don't forget about self-care.
Oh, self-care, yes.
Yeah.
It's so easy to forget about that when we're busy taking care of others.
Absolutely, yeah. But they emphasize that in order to be effective coaches, we have to prioritize our own well-being.
Right. So it's not selfish. It's essential.
It's essential for us and for our clients. It's essential for us and for our clients.
Right. And they offer some really helpful techniques, like reframing and anchoring to, create healthy boundaries and manage our energy and just make time for things that nourish us.
Exactly.
It's a great point. We need to really model that for our clients.
Yes.
Show them that it's possible to have a successful practice and take care of ourselves at the same time.
Absolutely. And, sometimes we get so focused on the impact and the goals that we forget to just have fun along the way.
Yeah. It's easy to get caught up in the seriousness of our work.
It is. But Bandler and Grinder, they really emphasize that coaching doesn't have to be all serious business.
Right. So it's okay to laugh, to be playful, to enjoy the process.
Absolutely. In fact, they argue that when we're having fun, we're more creative, more resourceful, and ultimately more effective.
Right. So it's like they're giving us permission to lighten up and enjoy the ride,
Exactly, yeah. Coaching is a gift, right? We get to connect with amazing people and make a difference. We should savor those moments.
Absolutely. And they also remind us to celebrate our successes.
Oh, yes. Celebration.
It's so easy to get caught up in what's next, always striving for that next goal, and forget to pause and acknowledge, how far we've come.
Right. But celebrating is crucial. It builds momentum, it boosts our motivation, and it just creates a more positive experience for both us and our clients.
Right. So it's about taking the time to savor those wins, big or small.
Exactly.
And really feel that sense of accomplishment.
And, we can even use techniques like anchoring and visualization to make those celebrations even more powerful.
I love that. So we're intentionally weaving those positive emotions into the fabric of our coaching.
Exactly. And, all of this leads us back to one of the most profound takeaways from the book. The invitation to embrace a generative approach to life.
Oh, yes, a generative approach.
Yeah.
I love that concept. We've talked about it a little bit, but I'd love to hear more about, what it means to live generatively.
Well, they argue that most of us, we live in this reactive mode.
Okay.
Always trying to fix problems, get rid of what we don't want.
Yeah. Which can be really exhausting. and unfulfilling.
Exactly. So instead, they invite us to shift our focus to what we want to create.
Okay.
To those experiences, relationships, the things that bring us joy, meaning, and purpose.
So it's about moving beyond surviving to thriving.
Exactly. And they offer a lot of great techniques for cultivating that mindset. Things like, using language that focuses on possibilities, visualizing our ideal future, and taking action aligned with our values.
That is so powerful. It's really inspiring to realize that we have the power to create the lives we want. And as coaches, we can guide our clients to do the same.
Absolutely. It's about shifting from scarcity to abundance, from fear to love, from reaction to creation.
Wow. This is really powerful stuff. It feels like NLP gives us this roadmap, not just for achieving our goals, but for living a life that is truly fulfilling and aligned with our values.
Exactly. And it's not about reaching some final destination. It's an ongoing journey of growth, learning, and transformation.
Right. And that's what makes it so exciting. There's always more to discover, more to create.
Exactly. And in all that exploration and creation, it's so important to remember to trust your intuition.
Oh, intuition. Yes. That inner voice that often knows what's best for us, even when we can't quite explain it, logically.
Absolutely. Bandler and Grinder, they argue that intuition is this powerful source of wisdom and guidance, but we often dismiss it or try to override it with our logical minds.
So it's about learning to tune in to that voice, to trust our gut.
Exactly. And they suggest practices like mindfulness, connecting with nature, paying attention to our dreams. All these things can help us develop that intuition.
That's such great advice, not just for life in general, but specifically for us as coaches, because our intuition can really guide us in understanding our clients on a deeper level and serving them more effectively.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that intuition isn't some mystical gift that only certain people have. It's a skill, you can develop it.
So we can all learn to, open ourselves up to those whispers of wisdom, those moments of insight.
Exactly. And when we trust our intuition, we become more aligned with ourselves, more connected to our purpose, and more effective at creating the lives that we desire.
It's a beautiful reminder that our work as coaches goes far beyond just helping people achieve goals. It's about empowering them to connect with their own inner wisdom and create lives that are truly authentic and fulfilling.
I couldn't agree more. And before we wrap up, there's one final thought from the book that I want to share. Remember that story about the shadow representing death?
Yes.
It might seem a little dark on the surface, but I think it holds a really powerful message for us as coaches.
What's that?
It's a reminder that our time is precious. Every moment is a gift. And we have the power to choose how we spend it. So let's choose to live fully. Let's do work that matters. Let's make a positive impact.
Beautifully said. And that, my friends, brings us to the heart of NLP and its application to the coaching journey. It's about embracing our power, stepping into our greatness, and creating a world where everyone can thrive.
If you're intrigued by all of this, we encourage you to explore NLP further. There are countless resources out there, books, workshops, online courses. Dive in.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep shining your light.